I've been staring at my laptop screen for the past hour, trying to focus on this marketing report that's due tomorrow, but all I can think about is the sound coming from across the hall. Again, it's 3 in the morning, and Marcus is having another nightmare. The third one this week, and it's only Wednesday. If this story hits you, drop a heart in the comments. The muffled sounds of distress seep through the thin walls of our cramped apartment, and I find myself holding my breath, waiting for it to pass. But it doesn't. If anything, it's getting worse. I can hear him tossing and turning, the bed frame creaking under his restless movements. And then there's that sound that makes my chest tighten, a whimper, raw and vulnerable, nothing like the confident guy I've been living with for the past 8 months. I close my laptop with a soft click and sit in the darkness of my room, debating whether I should go check on him. We're not that close, Marcus and I. We're friendly enough, sure. We split groceries, take turns cleaning the bathroom, and sometimes watch Netflix together on the couch when neither of us has anywhere else to be. But we're not the kind of roommates who share personal stuff. I don't know much about his life beyond the surface level. He works in construction, he's got a girlfriend named Sarah who comes over sometimes, and he's from somewhere in Ohio. Another sound from his room, sharper this time, almost like a cry, and I'm on my feet before I can think twice about it. I pad across the hardwood floor in my bare feet, my heart doing this weird fluttery thing it's been doing a lot lately, whenever Marcus is involved. I tell myself it's just concern for a friend, nothing more. The fact that I've been noticing the way his t-shirts stretch across his shoulders, or how his eyes crinkle when he laughs at something stupid on TV, that's just... I don't know what that is, but it's not important right now. I knock softly on his door, barely audible even to myself. Marcus? You okay in there? The sounds stop abruptly, like someone hit a pause button. For a moment, there's complete silence, and I wonder if maybe he's awake now, embarrassed that I heard him. Then his voice comes through the door, rough with sleep, and something else I can't quite identify. Yeah, I'm fine. Sorry if I woke you up. But he doesn't sound fine. His voice is shaky, and I can hear him moving around, probably sitting up in bed. I press my palm against the cool wood of his door, wishing I could see his face, wishing I knew what to say. You sure? That sounded pretty intense. There's a long pause, and I'm about to give up and go back to my room when I hear the soft pad of footsteps. The door opens just a crack, and Marcus peers out at me. Even in the dim light from the hallway, I can see that his dark hair is messed up, sticking up at odd angles, and there's a sheen of sweat on his forehead. His brown eyes look haunted, like he's still half-trapped in whatever nightmare was plaguing him. I didn't mean to wake you, he says again, and his voice is so quiet I have to lean closer to hear him. I've been having these dreams lately, and they're really vivid, you know? I nod, even though I don't really know. I've never been much of a dreamer, or at least not the kind who remembers them. Want to talk about it? He shakes his head quickly, maybe too quickly. Nah, it's stupid. I should probably just try to go back to sleep. But he doesn't close the door. He just stands there, looking lost and younger than his 26 years, and something in my chest clenches tight. I've always been a sucker for people who need help, even when they won't ask for it. It's gotten me into trouble before, this tendency to want to fix things, to make people feel better. My ex, David, used to say it was one of my most annoying traits, the way I'd hover and worry and try to solve problems that weren't mine to solve. But looking at Marcus now, I can't bring myself to care about being annoying. How long has this been going on? I ask. He runs a hand through his hair, making it stick up even more. Few weeks, maybe? They started after. He trails off, shaking his head. It's not important. It is if it's keeping you up at night. He looks at me for a long moment, and I can see him wrestling with something, some internal debate about whether to trust me with whatever's going on. Finally, he opens the door a little wider. You want to come in? I feel weird talking in the hallway like this. His room is a mirror image of mine, but where my space is organized to the point of being obsessive, Marcus's room has that lived-in quality that somehow makes it feel more like home. There are clothes draped over the chair in the corner, a stack of books on the nightstand that I didn't even know he read, and the bed is a tangle of sheets and blankets that speaks to his restless sleep. He sits on the edge of the bed, and I take the chair, spinning it around so I can face him. The lamp on his nightstand casts a warm, golden glow that makes his skin look bronze, and I have to force myself to focus on his face, not the way his sleep shirt has ridden up slightly, revealing a strip of his stomach. So, I say, settling back in the chair. Nightmares. Yeah. He's quiet for a moment, picking at a loose thread on his comforter. They're always different, but they're always about the same thing, you know? I'm trying to save someone or protect someone, and I can't. I'm not strong enough, or I'm too late, or I just fail. There's something in his voice, a weight that suggests these aren't just random anxiety dreams. Is this about someone specific? His jaw tightens, and for a second I think he's going to shut down, tell me it's none of my business, and ask me to leave. But then his shoulders slump, and he looks so tired that I want to reach out and pull him into a hug. My little brother, he says finally. Danny. He died in a car accident 2 months ago. The words hit me like a physical blow, and suddenly everything makes sense. The way Marcus has been quieter lately, more withdrawn. The way he sometimes just stares off into space when he thinks no one's looking. The way he's been working longer hours, coming home exhausted and going straight to his room. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. He nods, still not looking at me. I don't really talk about it. Sarah keeps telling me I should see someone, a therapist or whatever, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right, talking to a stranger about Danny. But you're talking to me. That makes him look up, and there's something in his expression that I can't quite read. Yeah, I guess I am. We sit in comfortable silence for a few minutes, and I find myself really looking at him, maybe for the first time since we've been living together. I mean, I've looked at him before. It's impossible not to, really, because Marcus is the kind of guy who draws attention without trying. He's tall and broad-shouldered, with the kind of easy confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and being comfortable in your own skin. At least, that's what I thought before tonight. But now, seeing him like this, vulnerable and hurting, I'm noticing other things. The way his hands shake slightly when he talks about his brother. The dark circles under his eyes that I thought were just from working long hours. The way he keeps glancing at me like he's surprised I'm still here, like he expects me to get uncomfortable and leave. What was he like? I ask. Danny. Marcus's face transforms when he talks about his brother. The tension in his shoulders eases, and there's a softness in his eyes that makes my heart do that fluttery thing again. He tells me about Danny, who was 10 years younger and apparently the family clown. How he was always getting into trouble, but in the harmless, endearing way that made everyone love him more. How he looked up to Marcus, wanted to be just like him when he grew up. He was supposed to come visit me next month, Marcus says, and his voice cracks slightly. I was going to take him to see the Cubs play. He'd never been to a major league game before. I don't know what to say to that, so I don't say anything. Sometimes silence is better than empty words, and I learned a long time ago that people don't always need you to fix things. Sometimes they just need you to listen. The dreams, Marcus continues. They're always about me not being there when he needed me. Like, I'll be running to help him, but my legs won't work, or I'll be calling his name, but no sound comes out. And I always wake up right when I realize I'm too late. But you weren't too late, I say gently. You weren't even supposed to be there. It was an accident. I know that. His voice is sharp, defensive. I know it logically. But knowing something and feeling it are two different things, you know? I do know, actually. I know exactly what he means, because I've spent the last few months knowing logically that my feelings for my straight roommate are pointless and potentially friendship-ending, while feeling them anyway with an intensity that sometimes takes my breath away. Have you been sleeping at all? I ask. He shrugs. A few hours here and there. I try to stay up as late as possible, thinking maybe if I'm exhausted enough, I won't dream. But it doesn't really work. Looking at him now, I can see the exhaustion written in every line of his body. His eyes are red-rimmed, and there's a slump to his shoulders that speaks to bone-deep weariness. He's running on empty, and it's only a matter of time before he crashes completely. This can't go on, I say. You're going to make yourself sick. I don't know what else to do. There's a helplessness in his voice that breaks something inside me. I've tried everything. Warm milk, melatonin, those meditation apps. Nothing works. An idea starts forming in my head, and I push it away immediately because it's crazy and inappropriate and probably the worst idea I've ever had. But it keeps coming back, persistent and insistent, because I can't stand seeing him like this. What if? I start, then stop, shaking my head. Never mind. It's stupid. What? No, really, it's a dumb idea. Jake. The way he says my name, soft and almost pleading, makes me look up at him. I'm desperate here. I'll try anything. I take a deep breath, knowing I'm probably about to make things weird between us, but unable to stop myself. What if you didn't sleep alone? He blinks at me, confused. What do you mean? I mean, maybe the nightmares are worse because you're isolated when they happen. Maybe if someone was there, it would help ground you, keep you from getting so deep into the dream state where they happen. You're talking about sleeping in the same bed. It's not a question, and I can feel heat creeping up my neck. I'm talking about whatever might help you get some rest. If that means sharing a bed, then yeah. He's quiet for so long that I start to panic, wondering if I've just crossed a line I can't uncross. Maybe he's putting together all the little moments. The way I sometimes linger when we're talking, how I always seem to find excuses to be in the same room as him. The fact that I've never brought anyone home in all the months we've been living together. "You do that?" he asks finally. Of course I would. We're friends, right? Friends help each other out. The word friends tastes bitter in my mouth, but it's safer than the truth. The truth is that I do just about anything to make Marcus feel better, and not all of those reasons are purely altruistic. The truth is that the idea of sleeping next to him, of being close enough to hear him breathe, makes my heart race in a way that has nothing to do with friendship. But he doesn't need to know that. "I don't know," he says, running his hand through his hair again. "That's asking a lot." "You're not asking. I'm offering." He looks at me for a long moment, and I try to keep my expression neutral, friendly, the kind of look you'd give any roommate you were trying to help. I don't think I'm entirely successful, because something shifts in his expression, but I can't tell what he's thinking. "Just for tonight?" he asks. "However long you need." Another pause, and then he nods slowly. "Okay, yeah, if you're sure you don't mind." My heart does a little skip, and I have to work to keep my voice steady. "I don't mind." The next few minutes are awkward in a way that makes me hyper-aware of every movement, every breath. Marcus clears some space on his side of the bed, moving books and his phone charger to the nightstand. I hover near the door, suddenly uncertain about the logistics of this arrangement. "Which side do you usually sleep on?" I ask. "Right side, but I can move if you prefer it." "No, that's fine. I usually sleep on the left anyway." It's such a mundane conversation, the kind couples probably have every night without thinking about it, but it feels monumental. We're negotiating the geography of intimacy, and I'm trying not to read too much into the fact that he's making room for me in his bed. Marcus pulls back the covers, and I catch a glimpse of his sheets, navy blue, soft-looking cotton that I immediately want to touch. He's wearing a gray t-shirt and boxers, and I'm suddenly very aware that I'm in my own sleep clothes, an old college t-shirt and a pair of shorts that are probably too short for this situation. "You sure about this?" he asks, and there's something in his voice I can't identify. "Positive." I slide into bed beside him, and immediately I'm surrounded by his scent, something clean and masculine, like cedar and soap. The mattress dips under my weight, and suddenly we're sharing the same space, breathing the same air, and I have to concentrate on keeping my breathing steady. Marcus reaches over and turns off the lamp, plunging us into darkness. In the absence of sight, my other senses seem heightened. I can hear his breathing, feel the warmth radiating from his body, even though we're not touching. The bed is big enough that there's space between us, but not much, and I'm acutely aware of every small movement he makes. "Thank you," he says quietly, "for this. I know it's weird." It's not weird, I lie. It's just two friends helping each other out. Right? Friends. There's something in the way he says it that makes me turn my head toward him, even though I can't see his face in the darkness. But before I can analyze it too much, I feel him relax beside me, his breathing starting to even out. I lie there for a long time, listening to him breathe, trying to memorize this moment because I know it's probably a one-time thing. Tomorrow he'll wake up rested, thank me politely, and things will go back to normal. We'll go back to being friendly roommates who don't share personal stuff. And I'll go back to pretending I don't notice the way his jeans fit or how he looks when he's concentrating on something. But for now, for tonight, I get to lie here next to him and pretend that this means something more than it does. I must drift off at some point, because the next thing I know, I'm waking up to sunlight streaming through Marcus's window and the sound of birds chirping outside. For a moment, I'm disoriented, not sure where I am or why everything smells like cedar and warmth. Then I remember, and I become very aware of the fact that sometime during the night, we've moved closer together. Much closer. Marcus is pressed against my side, his head on my shoulder, one arm thrown across my chest. His breathing is deep and even, and he looks peaceful in a way I haven't seen since I've known him. I should move. I should carefully extract myself and go back to my own room before he wakes up and realizes how we're positioned. But I can't bring myself to do it. He looks so relaxed, so content, and I don't want to be the reason that peace gets shattered. So I lie there, barely breathing, trying not to think about how good it feels to have him curled against me like this. Trying not to notice how perfectly he fits against my side, or how his hair is soft where it brushes against my neck. I'm so focused on not moving that I almost miss the moment when his breathing changes, becoming less deep, more aware. He's waking up, and I brace myself for the awkwardness that's about to follow. But he doesn't jerk away like I expect him to. Instead, he goes very still, and I can feel the moment when he realizes how we're positioned. His body tenses slightly, but he doesn't move. "Jake." His voice is soft, still rough with sleep. "Yeah. Did I have any nightmares?" I think back over the night and realize that after those first few minutes of settling in, he slept peacefully. No tossing and turning, no sounds of distress. Just deep, restful sleep. "No," I say. "You slept through the night." He's quiet for a moment, and I can feel him thinking. Then, slowly, he lifts his head to look at me. His hair is messed up again, sticking up at odd angles, and there's a crease on his cheek from where it was pressed against my shirt. He looks rumpled and warm and absolutely beautiful, and I have to clench my hands into fists to keep from reaching up to smooth down his hair. "I haven't slept that well in months," he says. "Good. I'm glad it helped." We're looking at each other now, and there's something in his expression that I can't quite read. His brown eyes are searching my face like he's looking for something, and I wonder what he sees there. I wonder if he can tell that my heart is racing, or if he notices the way I can't seem to look away from his mouth. "Jake," he says, and his voice is different now, softer, more uncertain. "Yeah." But before he can say whatever he was going to say, his phone buzzes on the nightstand, breaking the moment. He reaches for it, and I use the opportunity to put some distance between us, scooting back to my side of the bed. "It's Sarah," he says, looking at the screen. "I should probably call her back." "Of course. I gesture toward the door, already climbing out of bed. "I'll give you some privacy." "Jake, wait." I pause at the door, looking back at him. He's sitting up in bed now, the covers pulled around his waist, and his hair is still doing that thing where it sticks up in the back. He looks like he wants to say something, but then his phone buzzes again, and the moment passes. "Never mind," he says. "Thanks again. For last night." "Anytime." I escape to my own room and close the door behind me, leaning against it and trying to process what just happened. The rational part of my brain is telling me not to read too much into it. He was grateful for the help, nothing more. The way he looked at me, the softness in his voice, the fact that he didn't immediately pull away when he realized how we were sleeping. It's all just my imagination, wishful thinking from someone who's been harboring feelings for his straight roommate for months. But there was something in his eyes, something I've never seen before. A kind of awareness, maybe, or confusion, like he was seeing me differently than he had before. I shake my head, trying to dispel the thought. Marcus has a girlfriend. He's straight. Last night was about him needing help with his nightmares, nothing more. I need to remember that and not let my feelings complicate what was essentially a favor for a friend. But even as I tell myself this, I can't forget the way it felt to wake up with him in my arms, or the way he said my name in that soft, uncertain voice. I spend the rest of the morning trying to distract myself with work, but I keep finding myself listening for sounds from his room, wondering if he's still on the phone with Sarah, wondering what he's telling her about last night. Does he mention that I slept in his bed? Does he tell her about the nightmares? Or is that something he keeps private even from his girlfriend? Around noon, I hear his door open and the sound of his footsteps in the hallway. I hold my breath, wondering if he's going to knock on my door, but the footsteps continue toward the kitchen. A few minutes later, I smell coffee brewing and hear the familiar sounds of him making breakfast. I debate staying in my room, giving us both some space to process whatever happened last night. But that would be weird, wouldn't it? We live together. We can't avoid each other forever, and acting like last night was some big deal would only make things more awkward. So I take a deep breath, run my hands through my hair to make sure it's not doing anything embarrassing, and head to the kitchen. Marcus is standing at the counter, pouring coffee into 2 mugs. He's dressed now, in jeans and a blue button-down that brings out his eyes, and his hair has been tamed into something resembling order. He looks up when I walk in, And for a second, there's that same awareness in his expression that I saw earlier. But then he smiles, easy and familiar, and I wonder if I imagined it. "Morning," he says, holding out one of the mugs. "Figured you could probably use some caffeine." "Thanks." I take the mug, careful not to let our fingers brush when he hands it to me. "How'd you sleep?" "After I left, I mean." "Good, actually. Really good." He leans against the counter, cradling his own mug in both hands. "I was thinking, would you be up for doing that again tonight? If it's not too weird for you." My heart does that skip thing again, and I have to work to keep my voice casual. "Sure, if it helps." It does. I don't know why, but it really does. He takes a sip of his coffee, studying me over the rim of his mug. "Sarah thinks it's because I'm not alone with my thoughts when I'm falling asleep. Having someone there keeps me grounded in reality instead of slipping into anxiety dreams." "Right. Sarah, his girlfriend, who he talks to about these things, who probably knows him better than I ever will." I nod. Trying to look like this makes perfect sense to me and not like I was hoping for a different explanation. "That makes sense," I say. "Whatever works." "You're sure you don't mind?" I know it's not exactly a normal roommate request. "Marcus, it's fine. Really. We're friends, and friends help each other out." There's that word again, friends, and I see something flicker across his expression when I say it. But before I can analyze it, he's nodding and taking another sip of his coffee. "Okay, good. Thank you." We fall into our normal morning routine after that. Marcus reading the news on his phone while he eats toast, me scrolling through emails on my laptop. It's comfortable and familiar, and I start to relax, thinking maybe this won't change things between us after all. But then Marcus says, "I should probably shower before work." And suddenly I'm thinking about him in the shower, water running down his body, and I have to excuse myself before I do something embarrassing like blush or stare. The rest of the day passes in a haze of distraction. I try to focus on work, but my mind keeps wandering to the night ahead. Will it be the same as last night? Will we end up curled together again? Or will Marcus be more careful to maintain distance now that he knows it might happen? And what does it mean that he wants to do it again? Is it really just about the nightmares? Or is there something else going on? Something he's not ready to acknowledge, maybe not even to himself? I'm probably reading too much into it. I have a tendency to do that, to look for signs and meanings that aren't really there. David used to tease me about it, the way I'd analyze every conversation, every look, every casual touch, searching for hidden significance. But this feels different. The way Marcus looked at me this morning, the way he didn't pull away when he realized how we were sleeping, there was something there, something real. I just don't know what to do with it. By the time evening rolls around, I'm a bundle of nervous energy. I've changed clothes 3 times, settling finally on a t-shirt and pajama pants that are comfortable but not too revealing. I've brushed my teeth twice and checked my breath more times than I care to admit. I feel like a teenager getting ready for a first date, which is ridiculous because this is not a date. This is me helping my roommate with his sleep problems. Nothing more. Marcus gets home around 7, looking tired but less haggard than he has in weeks. He smiles when he sees me, and there's something warm in his expression that makes my stomach flutter. "How was work?" I ask. "Good. Better, actually. I wasn't falling asleep on my feet for once." He drops his keys on the counter and stretches, his shirt riding up slightly to reveal a strip of tanned skin. "I actually feel human today." "That's great." We have dinner together, something we don't do very often, but which feels natural tonight. Marcus tells me about his day, about the project he's working on, and the coworker who's been driving him crazy. I tell him about the client presentation I'm preparing for next week. It's easy conversation, the kind we've always had, but there's an undercurrent of something else now, an awareness that wasn't there before. After dinner, we watch TV for a while, sitting on opposite ends of the couch like we always do. But I catch Marcus glancing at me more than once, and when our eyes meet, he doesn't look away immediately like he usually would. There's a tension in the air, subtle but unmistakable, like the moment before a storm breaks. Around 10:30, Marcus yawns and stretches again. "I should probably head to bed soon. Early day tomorrow." "Yeah, me too." We both stand up, and suddenly the air feels charged with possibility. This is it, the moment where we either acknowledge that something has changed between us, or we pretend that last night was just a one-off favor between friends. "So," Marcus says, and his voice is carefully casual. "Same arrangement as last night. If that's what you want." "It is." He pauses, then adds, "I mean, if you're still okay with it. I'm okay with it. We head down the hallway together, and I feel like I'm walking towards something momentous, though I can't say what. At the door to his room, Marcus pauses, his hand on the doorknob. I'm going to brush my teeth and stuff, he says. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I gesture vaguely toward my own room. Right? Yeah. He disappears into the bathroom, and I go to my room to change into my sleep clothes. My hands are shaking slightly as I pull on my t-shirt, and I have to take several deep breaths to calm myself down. This is just sleeping. Just two friends sharing a bed so one of them can get some rest. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. But when I knock softly on Marcus's door a few minutes later, and he calls for me to come in, I know I'm lying to myself. This feels like something much more significant than a favor for a friend. Marcus is already in bed, propped up against the headboard with a book in his lap. He's wearing the same gray t-shirt as last night, and his hair is damp from washing his face. He looks up when I enter, and there's something almost shy in his expression. I wasn't sure if you'd changed your mind, he says. Why would I change my mind? He shrugs, closing the book and setting it on the nightstand. I don't know. It's kind of an unusual situation. Unusual doesn't mean bad. He looks at me for a moment, and I can see him processing that statement, turning it over in his mind. Then he nods and scoots over to make room for me. Getting into bed is easier the second time, though no less charged with tension. I settle on my side, facing away from Marcus initially, but he clears his throat softly. Jake. I turn to face him. Yeah. Thank you for doing this. I know it's probably weird for you. It's not weird, I say, and I mean it. Being here with him, in this intimate space, feels like the most natural thing in the world. I want to help. He smiles, and it's soft and genuine and makes my heart ache with how much I care about him. You're a good friend. There's that word again, but this time it doesn't sting as much. Maybe because of the way he's looking at me when he says it. Like friend is just the closest word he can find for something he doesn't quite understand yet. Marcus reaches over and turns off the lamp, and we settle into the darkness. This time, I'm more aware of his presence beside me, the way the mattress dips under his weight, the sound of his breathing as it gradually evens out. I lie there for a while, listening to him fall asleep, and I find myself thinking about the conversation we had in the kitchen this morning. About Sarah's theory that having someone there keeps him grounded in reality. I wonder if that's really all this is, or if there's something else going on. Something neither of us is ready to name yet. Sometime during the night, I wake up to find that we've moved together again. This time, I'm the one who's moved. I'm curled against Marcus's side, my head on his chest, one arm thrown across his waist. I can feel his heartbeat under my cheek, steady and strong, and his breathing is deep and peaceful. I should move. I should go back to my side of the bed before he wakes up and realizes how I'm clinging to him. But his arm is around me, holding me close, and when I start to shift away, his grip tightens slightly, like his sleeping body doesn't want to let me go. So I stay where I am, allowing myself this moment of closeness, this pretense that we're something more than just friends helping each other out. I memorize the feeling of his body against mine, the way his chest rises and falls with each breath, the way his fingers curl slightly against my back where his hand rests. I drift back to sleep like that, and when I wake up again, it's to the sound of Marcus's alarm going off. We're still tangled together, but this time he doesn't seem surprised or embarrassed when he realizes our position. He just reaches over to turn off the alarm, then settles back against the pillows, his arms still around me. Morning, he says, and his voice is soft, intimate in a way that makes my stomach flutter. Morning. How'd you sleep? Perfect. No dreams at all. He's quiet for a moment, then adds, I haven't slept this well since before Danny died. There's something in his voice, a vulnerability that makes me lift my head to look at him. His brown eyes are serious, searching my face like he's trying to figure something out. I'm glad, I say. Jake. He starts to say something, then stops, shaking his head. Never mind. What? It's nothing. I should get ready for work. But he doesn't move to get up. Instead, he stays where he is, looking at me with an expression I can't quite read. There's something building between us, some kind of tension or awareness that feels like it's reaching a breaking point. Marcus, I say, and I'm not even sure what I'm going to say next. But before I can figure it out, his phone buzzes on the nightstand. A text message, probably from Sarah, and the moment is broken. Marcus reaches for his phone, and I take the opportunity to extract myself from his arms and sit up on the edge of the bed. I should let you get ready, I say, standing up. Jake, wait. I pause at the door, looking back at him. He's sitting up in bed now, his hair messed up and his t-shirt wrinkled, and there's something almost desperate in his expression. Tonight, he asks. Same time, if you want. I do. I really do. There's an intensity in his voice that makes my heart race, like he's talking about something more than just sleeping arrangements. But before I can analyze it too much, I nod and escape to my own room. The pattern continues for the rest of the week. During the day, we're normal roommates, friendly, comfortable, but maintaining appropriate boundaries. But at night, we share his bed, and each morning I wake up in his arms, and each morning it gets a little harder to pretend that this is just about helping him sleep. By Friday night, the tension between us is almost unbearable. We're both hyper-aware of each other, and I catch Marcus watching me more and more often, his expression thoughtful and confused, like he's trying to solve a puzzle he doesn't understand. That night, as we're getting ready for bed, Marcus seems more nervous than usual. He keeps fidgeting with his shirt, running his hands through his hair, glancing at me, and then looking away. You okay? I ask as we settle into bed. Yeah, I'm fine. Just thinking about some stuff. Work stuff? Not exactly. He's quiet for a moment, then turns to face me in the darkness. Jake, can I ask you something? My heart starts racing. Sure. This thing we're doing, it's helping me sleep, but I keep wondering if it's weird for you. I mean, we're basically cuddling every night, and I know that's not exactly normal for straight guys. The word straight hangs in the air between us, and I realize this is it. The moment where I either lie and pretend that's what I am, or I tell him the truth and risk everything. Marcus, I say carefully, what makes you think I'm straight? There's a long silence, and I can practically hear him thinking. I guess I just assumed. You've never brought anyone home, never talked about dating anyone. That doesn't mean I'm straight. Another silence, longer this time. When he speaks again, his voice is very quiet. Are you saying you're not? My heart is pounding so hard I'm sure he can hear it. This is it, the moment of truth. I can backtrack, make a joke, pretend I was just messing with him. Or I can be honest and deal with whatever comes next. I'm gay, I say, and the words feel both terrifying and liberating. I have been my whole life. Oh, it's barely a whisper, and I can't tell from his tone what he's thinking. I didn't know. I don't exactly advertise it. And you never asked, right? Yeah, that makes sense. He's quiet for so long that I start to panic, wondering if I've just ruined everything. But then he says, so when you offered to help me sleep, was that just as a friend? The question catches me off guard, and I don't know how to answer it. Because the truth is complicated. Yes, I wanted to help him as a friend, but no, my motivations weren't entirely pure. The truth is that I've been attracted to him since the day he moved in, and the opportunity to be close to him, even in this innocent way, was too tempting to resist. I wanted to help you, I say finally. That's the most important thing. But I'd be lying if I said that was the only reason. He turns onto his side, facing me, and even in the darkness I can feel the intensity of his gaze. What's the other reason? I take a deep breath, knowing that whatever I say next will change everything between us. I care about you, Marcus, more than I probably should. What does that mean? It means that I've been attracted to you for months, and I've been trying really hard to ignore it because you're straight and you have a girlfriend, and I didn't want to make things weird between us. The silence that follows is deafening. I lie there, hardly breathing, waiting for him to say something, anything. I'm prepared for him to be uncomfortable, maybe even angry. I'm prepared for him to ask me to leave, to tell me this arrangement is over and we need to go back to being just roommates. What I'm not prepared for is what he actually says. I've been thinking about that too. Thinking about what? About you. About this. About why I like having you here so much. His voice is barely audible, like he's afraid to say the words out loud. At first I thought it was just because you were helping me sleep, but it's more than that. I like the way you smell, and the way you feel when you're pressed against me, and the way I feel safe when you're here. My heart stops. Marcus, I know it's crazy. I know I'm supposed to be straight, and I have Sarah, and this doesn't make any sense. But I can't stop thinking about it. I don't know what to say. This is so far beyond what I was expecting that I feel like I'm in some kind of alternate reality. Marcus, my straight roommate, is telling me he's attracted to me. It should be everything I've been hoping for, but instead I feel terrified. What are you saying? I whisper. I don't know. I honestly don't know. He's quiet for a moment, then adds, Can I try something? What? Instead of answering, he moves closer, and suddenly his face is inches from mine. I can feel his breath on my skin, can see the outline of his features in the dim light from the window. Is this okay? He asks. I nod, not trusting my voice. And then he kisses me. It's soft and tentative at first, like he's not sure what he's doing. His lips are warm and slightly chapped, and he tastes like toothpaste and something that's uniquely him. I kiss him back carefully, not wanting to spook him, and I feel him relax against me. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. Wow, he says. Yeah, I've never done that before. Kissed a guy, I mean. How was it? He's quiet for a moment, thinking. Different than I expected, but good, really good. He kisses me again, more confidently this time, and I let myself sink into it, into the impossibility of this moment. Marcus, who I've been pining after for months, is kissing me in his bed, and it feels like a dream. But when we break apart the second time, reality starts to creep in. What about Sarah? I ask. The question hits him like a physical blow, and I see him withdraw slightly. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Marcus, you have a girlfriend. You can't just. I know. His voice is sharp, defensive. I know, okay? I know this is fucked up and complicated, and I don't know what I'm doing. We lie there in tense silence, and I can feel him spiraling, probably regretting what just happened. I want to reach out and touch him, to reassure him somehow, but I don't know if that would make things better or worse. I should go, I say finally. No. His hand shoots out and grabs my wrist. Please don't go. I know this is complicated, but I don't want you to leave. Marcus, please. I need time to think, to figure this out. But I don't want to be alone tonight. I look at him, at the vulnerability in his expression, and I know I can't leave him like this. Whatever happens tomorrow, whatever he decides about Sarah and about us, tonight he needs me here. Okay, I say. I'll stay. He relaxes, his grip on my wrist loosening. Thank you. We settle back into our usual positions, but everything feels different now. The air between us is charged with possibility and confusion and the memory of his lips on mine. I lie there listening to his breathing, wondering what tomorrow will bring, wondering if he'll wake up and regret what happened. But for now, for tonight, I'm here with him, and that has to be enough. I wake up the next morning to find Marcus already awake, staring at the ceiling. His arm is still around me, but his body is tense, and I can practically hear the thoughts racing through his head. Morning, I say softly. Morning. He doesn't look at me, just continues staring upward. I've been thinking. My stomach clenches. About last night. About what happened. I wait, not sure I want to hear what he's going to say next. I need to talk to Sarah, he says finally. I need to figure out what this means, what I want. Okay. But Jake. He turns to look at me then, and there's something intense in his brown eyes. I don't regret it. What happened between us? I want you to know that. Relief floods through me. I don't regret it either. Good. He's quiet for a moment, then adds. I just need some time to sort things out in my head. This is all new for me. I understand. And I do understand, even though part of me wants to push, to ask him what he's feeling, what he wants to happen next. But I know that would be unfair. He's dealing with something huge, something that's probably turning his entire understanding of himself upside down. The least I can do is give him space to process it. Marcus gets up and starts getting ready for work, and I take that as my cue to leave. But as I'm heading for the door, he calls my name. Jake. I turn back to him. Yeah. Tonight. Would it be okay if we took a break from this? I just need some time to think. It stings, but I nod. Of course. Whatever you need. Thank you. For understanding. I spend the day trying to distract myself, but it's impossible to focus on anything. My mind keeps replaying last night. The way Marcus kissed me, the way he said my name, the way he felt in my arms. But it also keeps coming back to the conversation this morning, to the uncertainty in his voice when he said he needed time to think. What if he decides this was all a mistake? What if he chooses Sarah, chooses the life he's always known? What if things go back to the way they were before, except now I'll have to live with the memory of what it felt like to kiss him? I try to tell myself that whatever happens, I'll be okay. That I was fine before this started, and I'll be fine if it ends. But the truth is, these past few nights have changed something in me. They've given me a taste of what it might be like to be with Marcus, really be with him. And now that I've had that, I don't know how to go back to pretending I don't want it. Marcus comes home later than usual, and when he does, he goes straight to his room without saying hello. I hear him on the phone, his voice low and serious, and I know he's talking to Sarah. I try not to listen, but the walls are thin, and I catch fragments of conversation. Need to talk. Something's changed. Not sure what this means. The call goes on for over an hour, and by the time it ends, I'm a wreck. I hear Marcus's door open, hear his footsteps in the hallway, and I hold my breath, wondering if he's going to knock on my door. But the footsteps continue to the kitchen, and I hear the refrigerator open, the sound of a beer being opened. I debate going out there, asking him how it went, but I decide to give him space. If he wants to talk, he knows where to find me. I'm lying in bed, staring at the ceiling and trying to convince myself to go to sleep, when there's a soft knock on my door. "Come in," I say, sitting up. Marcus opens the door and steps into my room. He's still dressed in his work clothes, but his shirt is wrinkled and his hair is messed up like he's been running his hands through it. He looks exhausted and confused and heartbreakingly vulnerable. "Hey," he says. "Hey, how'd it go? With Sarah, I mean." He runs a hand through his hair, confirming my suspicion about why it looks so disheveled. I told her I needed some space, that I was dealing with some stuff and needed time to figure things out. How did she take it? Not well. She wanted to know what kind of stuff, if there was someone else. He looks at me meaningfully. I didn't know what to tell her. What did you tell her? That I was confused about some things and needed time to think. She said she'd give me a week, and then we needed to talk again. A week. 7 days for Marcus to figure out what he wants, who he wants to be. 7 days that will determine whether this thing between us has a future or if it dies before it really begins. So what now? I ask. I don't know. He sits down on the edge of my bed, and I can see the exhaustion in every line of his body. I keep thinking about last night, about how it felt to kiss you. And then I think about Sarah, about the life I thought I wanted, and I don't know how to reconcile those two things. You don't have to figure it all out tonight. I know, but I can't stop thinking about it. He looks at me, and there's something desperate in his expression. Jake, I don't know what's happening to me. I've never felt like this about a guy before, never even considered it. But with you, what about me? With you it feels right. Natural. Like this is how it's supposed to be. My heart does that fluttery thing again, and I have to resist the urge to reach out and touch him. Marcus, I know it's crazy. I know I'm probably having some kind of crisis or whatever, but I can't get you out of my head. We sit there in silence for a moment, the weight of his words hanging between us. Then Marcus stands up, and I think he's going to leave, go back to his room, and try to sleep alone for the first time in a week. But instead, he says, "Can I sleep here tonight? In your bed? Are you sure that's a good idea? I thought you wanted space to think." "I do, but I also don't want to be alone. And your bed, it smells like you." The way he says it, soft and almost shy, makes my chest tight with emotion. Okay, yeah, of course. He disappears for a few minutes to change into his sleep clothes, and when he comes back, he's wearing the same gray t-shirt and boxers he's worn every night this week. But somehow, seeing him in my room, preparing to sleep in my bed, feels different, more intimate, maybe, or more significant. We settle into bed, and it's strange how natural it feels, even in this new environment. Marcus curls against my side like he is every night, his head on my chest, his arm around my waist. But there's a tension in his body that wasn't there before, an awareness of what this means, what it might lead to. "Jake," he says softly. "Yeah. What happens if I can't figure this out? What happens if I'm too scared to choose?" The vulnerability in his voice breaks my heart. "Then we'll figure it out together. Whatever you decide, whatever you need, I'll be here. Even if I choose her." The question is like a knife to the chest, but I answer honestly. "Even then, we're friends first, remember?" That doesn't change. He's quiet for a long time, and I think he's fallen asleep. But then he lifts his head to look at me, and in the dim light from the window, I can see tears in his eyes. "I'm scared," he whispers. "Of what?" "Of everything. Of hurting Sarah, of hurting you, of making the wrong choice, of what it means if I choose you." I reach up and brush a tear from his cheek, and he leans into the touch. "You don't have to be scared. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you decide, it's okay." Is it? Is it really okay to realize you might not be who you thought you were? "Yes," I say firmly. It's okay to change, to grow, to discover new things about yourself. That's what life is about. He stares at me for a long moment, and then, without warning, he kisses me again. This time there's nothing tentative about it. It's desperate and hungry and full of all the confusion and desire he's been carrying around. I kiss him back, pouring all of my own feelings into it. The months of wanting him, the tenderness I feel for his struggle, the hope that maybe, somehow, this could work out. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. I want you, he says, and the words are raw honest. I want you so much it scares me. I want you too. I have for months. Then why does this feel so complicated? Because it is complicated. But that doesn't mean it's wrong. He looks at me for a long moment, and I can see him wrestling with something. Then he says, show me. Show you what? Show me what it's like. To be with you. Really be with you. My heart stops. Marcus, are you sure? You don't have to. I want to. I need to know what this could be like. I study his face, looking for any sign of doubt or hesitation. But all I see is desire and determination and a kind of desperate curiosity. Okay, I say, but we go slow. And if you want to stop at any point, we stop. He nods. Okay. I lean in and kiss him again, soft and slow this time, trying to pour all of my feelings into the connection between us. He responds immediately, his hands coming up to tangle in my hair, and I can feel some of the tension leaving his body. We kiss for a long time, just exploring each other, learning the taste and feel of each other's mouths. Marcus is a quick learner, and soon he's kissing me with a confidence that makes my head spin. When I trail kisses down his neck, he makes a soft sound that goes straight through me. His skin is warm and slightly salty, and he smells like soap and something uniquely him. I take my time, exploring the sensitive spot just below his ear, the hollow of his throat, the place where his shoulder meets his neck. God, Jake, he breathes, and his voice is rough with desire. I pull back to look at him, and he's beautiful in the dim light, his hair messed up, his lips swollen from kissing, his eyes dark with want. I've imagined this moment so many times, but the reality is so much better than anything I could have dreamed up. You okay? I ask. More than okay. He reaches for the hem of my t-shirt. Can I? I nod, and he pulls my shirt over my head, his hands immediately going to my chest, exploring the planes and angles of my body. His touch is tentative at first, but when I arch into it, he grows bolder, more confident. I return the favor, pulling his shirt off and running my hands over his torso. He's beautiful, all lean muscle and warm skin, exactly as perfect as I've imagined. When I brush my thumb over his nipple, he gasps and arches up into the touch. Is this okay? I ask. Yes. God, yes. We take our time, exploring each other's bodies, learning what makes the other gasp and moan and arch with pleasure. Marcus is responsive and eager, and watching him discover this side of himself is almost as arousing as his touch. When things start to get more intense, I pull back, checking in with him again. How are you feeling? Still okay? I'm perfect, he says, and there's something in his voice, a certainty that wasn't there before. I've never felt anything like this. Like what? Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. The words hit me like a physical blow. They're so perfect, so exactly what I've been hoping to hear. I lean down and kiss him again, deeper this time, and he responds with an enthusiasm that takes my breath away. What follows is slow and tender and absolutely perfect. Marcus is nervous but eager, and I take my time with him, making sure he's comfortable every step of the way. When he finally falls apart in my arms, calling my name like a prayer, I think my heart might actually burst with how much I love him. Afterward, we lie tangled together, both of us breathing hard and covered in sweat. Marcus has his head on my chest again, but this time it feels different, not just comfortable, but right. Like this is where he belongs. Wow, he says finally. Good wow or bad wow? Definitely good wow. He lifts his head to look at me, and there's something in his expression that I've never seen before. Peace, maybe, or certainty. Jake, I need to tell you something. What? I think I'm falling in love with you. The words hit me like lightning, and for a moment I can't breathe. Marcus, I know it's crazy. I know we've only been doing this for a week, and I know I'm supposed to be straight, and I know I have a girlfriend. But I can't deny what I'm feeling anymore. What are you feeling? Like I've been sleepwalking my whole life, and you woke me up. Like everything before this was just practice for the real thing. He pauses, then adds, "I love you, Jake. I'm in love with you." I stare at him, hardly able to believe what I'm hearing. This is so far beyond what I was hoping for that I feel like I'm dreaming. "I love you too," I say, and the words feel like coming home. "I've been in love with you for months." He smiles, and it's radiant, transformative. "Really? Really?" He kisses me again, soft and sweet and full of promise. When we break apart, he settles back against my chest, and I can feel the contentment in his body, the way he's finally, completely relaxed. "So what happens now?" I ask. Now I call Sarah tomorrow and tell her it's over. And then I figure out how to be the person I really am instead of the person I thought I was supposed to be. "Are you sure? You don't have to rush into anything." "I'm sure." His voice is firm, certain. I've never been more sure of anything in my life. We fall asleep like that, wrapped around each other. And for the first time since this all started, I'm not worried about what tomorrow will bring. Because whatever happens, we'll face it together. I wake up the next morning to sunlight streaming through my window and the sound of Marcus humming softly. He's already awake, tracing patterns on my chest with his finger, and when he sees that I'm awake, he smiles. "Morning, beautiful," he says. "Morning yourself." I stretch, enjoying the way his eyes follow the movement. "How'd you sleep?" "Best sleep of my life. No nightmares, no anxiety, just peace." He leans down and kisses me, soft and lingering. "I think I found the cure for my sleep problems." "Oh yeah? What's that?" "Being exactly where I belong." The words make my heart skip, and I pull him down for another kiss. When we break apart, he settles back against my chest, and we lie there in comfortable silence, just enjoying being together. "I should call Sarah," he says eventually. "Do you want me to leave? Give you privacy?" "No. I want you here. I need you here." So I stay, holding him while he makes the hardest phone call of his life. I can't hear Sarah's side of the conversation, but I can tell from Marcus's responses that she's not taking it well. There are tears, accusations, demands for explanations that Marcus can't or won't give. "I'm sorry," he says over and over. "I'm so sorry, Sarah. You deserve better than this." When he finally hangs up, he's shaking. I hold him while he cries, whispering reassurances, telling him he did the right thing, that it's going to be okay. "I hurt her," he says through his tears. "I hurt her so badly." "I know. But staying with her when your heart belongs to someone else would have hurt her worse in the long run." "I know. I know you're right. It just doesn't make it any easier." We spend the rest of the morning talking about what this means, what we want our relationship to look like. Marcus is scared about coming out, about what his family will think, about what his coworkers will say. But he's also excited, hopeful in a way I've never seen him before. "I feel like I can finally breathe," he tells me. "Like I've been holding my breath my whole life and didn't even realize it." I know the feeling. Do you? Really? Yeah. I spent so many years hiding who I was, pretending to be someone else. It's exhausting. But being with you, being able to be myself completely, it's the most freeing thing in the world. He smiles and kisses me again, and I think about how far we've come in just 1 week. From roommates to friends to something so much deeper and more meaningful than I ever dared to hope for. "So," Marcus says, settling back into my arms, "what do we do now?" "Now we take it one day at a time. We figure out how to be together, how to build something real and lasting." "I'd like that." "Good. Because I'm not going anywhere. Promise. Promise." He smiles, and it's soft and content and full of love. "I love you, Jake. I love you too." And as we lie there in the morning sunlight, wrapped around each other and planning our future, I think about how sometimes the best things in life come from the most unexpected places. How sometimes what starts as a simple act of friendship can bloom into something beautiful and transformative and absolutely perfect. Marcus came to me because he needed help sleeping, because he was haunted by nightmares and grief. But what we found together was so much more than a cure for insomnia. We found love, real and deep and life-changing. We found each other. And as Marcus drifts off to sleep in my arms, peaceful and content and exactly where he belongs, I know that whatever challenges lie ahead, we'll face them together. Because some things are worth fighting for, worth the fear and the uncertainty and the risk. Love is worth it. We are worth it. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I fall asleep with a smile on my face, knowing that when I wake up, he'll still be here. My roommate, my friend, my love. The man who changed everything just by letting me hold him through the night.